My never say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there. Osia dem yopo.
Afefonya TV mi mo bibiara kwa aba PENDREAM TV. Some subscribe ya master so be me subscribe button no. Na click the notification icon so. Like na share jumadi no ma afofro ensa enkabi. Jawadwe nkyere e wo comment section ho. Na ye de ni echi mu e wo parliament. Me pese be jebre na waka me ho. Eti ensema afema ken etoto man speaker backman ene Mahama Ayariga.
Minority leader, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, Mr. Speaker, we have only few women on our side. My respected colleague, Koko Asante, has been on her feet for a long time. She is a member of the committee. I humbly pray that you grant one each before leadership, because she's been on her feet for a long time. So please, Mr. Speaker, please grant her just 5 minutes, then I can have a bite, please.
Honorable members, for me, I don't have a problem, but a situation where we agree that 2 from each side will contribute.
Mr. Speaker, it's a plea. Just 5 minutes.
We will have to go beyond it. For me, I have a difficulty when we set the ground rules and we tend to break the rules.
Mr. Speaker, it's a plea. Kindly bear with us. Mr. Speaker, please.
Well, honorable members, what is the pleasure of the House? Majority Leader, let me hear you on this issue.
Ayariga, let her speak before I come. She's a woman. She's a member of the committee. Mr. Speaker, just grant 5 minutes. She's been on her feet since. Please.
Honorable Minority Leader, I have made myself clear that when leaders agreed on the number of persons to be taken, I think the leaders must again confer and ask me to go beyond that particular number to accommodate. So, Majority Leader, what's your view on the issue? Honorable members, there are other bills that others can have the opportunity to contribute. So at the conclusion of the debate, the question is, as
Mr.
many
Speaker,
as are in favor of the motion, say aye.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
Those against say no.
No.
The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker. No problem. No. Mr. Speaker, what you're doing is not... Mr. Speaker. Ayariga, this is not the practice. No. No. Mr. Speaker, item number 3.
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, let's take item number 3.
All members, order.
No, but he's already put the question. Yeah.
Yes, Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, our duty in leadership is to help the chair to manage the House. Mr. Speaker, it was my turn to speak, and I made a prayer that instead of me going ahead to make my submissions, grant our sister, who is a member of the committee, some 5 minutes, because she's been on her feet for a long time. Mr. Speaker, if you are refusing that application, then I should have had the opportunity. I was praying for you to grant her 5 minutes to have a bite, because it was my turn to make a contribution. Mr. Speaker, then you went ahead to put the question. Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, let's not set a certain precedence that would create problem for us as a House. With the greatest respect, a practice like this will not help all of us. You cannot deny an application for a member who is a member of the committee to make a contribution, and also go ahead to deny the minority leader his right to make a contribution. Mr. Speaker, no. I think that we should not. Honorable my respected colleague, Majority Leader, please, Mr. Speaker, sought your view on that application. If he was refusing, so be it. But Mr. Speaker, to go ahead to say you are putting a question whilst on my feet to deny me my right to be heard, Mr. Speaker, please, let's retreat and do the needful.
Yes, Honorable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, you see, when you are not in the chamber and you come in and you don't ask for proper briefing, that is what happens. It's true. You are not in the chamber. You don't know what happened. You don't know the understanding. In fact, we had concluded a debate. Your ranking member had finished. And then Kojo Oponkuma pleaded for an opportunity, and the speaker was so magnanimous, he granted him an opportunity. You were not there. You just moved in, and then you wanted to rehash the debate all over again, because sitting in your office, you had heard the debate, it was exciting, and you want to participate. We had concluded. The Minister for Finance himself had concluded. And then the chairman of the committee had concluded. So what was it about a member of the committee must be given an opportunity to also have a bite because she's a female? She was here. The minority whip was here. If you so wanted a female to contribute, you would have given her the opportunity. So, Mr. Speaker, it is not the case that leadership have not been given an opportunity. I have spoken to the matter. We contributed to the debate. You just came in. And you gave every opportunity to any member of your side who wanted to participate in the debate. So please don't create an impression that people are being guarded in the building, in the chamber. Mr. Speaker, I think that we have already concluded. You have put the question, you have voted, the matter is concluded. So let's move to the next stage. There are several bills that we'll be working on. There are several reports that we'll be working on. And so if the honorable member wants an opportunity to contribute, she will have several opportunities to contribute. If the leader wants an opportunity to debate, he will have several opportunities to do so. But on this matter, we have concluded. We have concluded.
Yes, Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
Speaker, let me start off by saying that we on this side today, Speaker, you bear me witness, we have been cooperative, extremely cooperative. Look, all the financial bills we have supported for their passage. Leader, if you recall, and Speaker, you guided us when you quoted Order 167. Because of the introduction of the amendment, at the second stage, a matter came up that we had to deal with. I stated my position. The Honorable Opon Kroma sought your leave. He also stated his position. And then we dealt with that matter. And Speaker, you guided us accordingly. Subsequently, you opened it up and said that then we should start a debate. So the initial discussions were on what he was trying to do, trying to smuggle a matter through the back door. So that the focus was on what you were introducing. It wasn't the substantive debate. So it was subsequently that the Speaker allowed that we should open up the debate for the discussion to start. So, Leader, I think it's below the belt when you say that the minority leader was not in the chamber. Many occasions you stood out. No, Leader, with respect. Many occasions you also stood out. No. But were you here throughout? I beg you. Leader, when you speak like this, I mean, it's not good for us. Carry the House along. I thought what you said was below the belt. He cannot be here all day. You get up intermittently. We visit nature's call. We all do that. It's natural call. You can't pin the minority leader in his seat and say that at that material moment he wasn't here and therefore he cannot speak. That is way above below belt. Speaker, so we had just started the debate. The ranking member has spoken. And earlier on, even the contribution of the Honorable Mahama was in respect of Order 167. When you directed us, it wasn't the substantive debate. Let's get it clear. So I think we have just begun the debate. And Speaker, as the minority leader, the respected minority call, grant them either the honorable member or he himself.
Honorable,
conclude, and then we can
Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
Speaker, we are minded to cooperate.
Honorable Minority Chief
Be
Whip.
grateful to us for the cooperation.
I don't think nobody accuses you of not cooperating. Honorable Minister, hold it. Yes.
Bring the cost of doing business down. Now, if we continue this, extend it to 2028, what it means is that our importers will continue to suffer. If the position in the past was that we should help the ordinary Ghanaian businessman, then it is my humble view that it should be seen to be
Honorable Minority Leader, I recognize Honorable Majority Leader.
2026 and 2026
I recognize Honorable Majority
should be the
Leader.
appropriate time to end this
I recognize Honorable Majority
Very well,
Leader.
Mr. Speaker, please do.
Mr. Speaker, second consideration of bills, outstanding orders, Order 171. And I want the leader, the minority leader to 171 to take his copy and let's go through it. 171(1) says, where a member intends to delete, amend, or introduce a provision in a bill which has passed through the consideration stage, the member may, immediately before a sponsor rises to move the motion for the third reading of the bill, move that the bill passes through a second consideration, either wholly or in respect of a particular part or parts of the bill or some proposed new clause or new schedule. It's not too late. This is the right time because he was just about to move for the third reading. Mr. Speaker, notice of this motion is not required, so he didn't need to give notice. If the motion is agreed to, the bill shall immediately pass through a second consideration stage. Who should agree to the motion? The House.
the House. If the motion, a motion is not, the Speaker doesn't decide on motions. The motion is agreed to by the House.
Members of Parliament.
We haven't agreed yet that we should take it through a second consideration stage. We haven't agreed yet. So you have moved a motion that we should take the bill through a second consideration stage. Let the House decide on that motion first before you start arguing about the clause that you are concerned about. So, Mr. Speaker, put the question on the motion to take the bill through a second consideration stage. Let us vote on that. If we agree that we will go through a second consideration stage, then you can go ahead.
So, Honorable Minority Leader, you have the floor. Instead of going ahead to propose an amendment that 2028 be deleted, first move a motion for the House to give you the opportunity to take the bill through a second consideration.
Mr. Speaker, you see his mouth when he starts his mischief. There's a way his face looks. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, these are not trivial matters. This House is governed by its own practices and conventions. Mr. Speaker, we are at Mr. Speaker, my friends should hear me. Mr. Speaker, it has never happened in this House. It has never happened in this House. They agreed to, Mr. Speaker, the interpretation being placed on that phrase is not accurate. Mr. Speaker, you are in the chair. You would have to agree to my application, not the House. Mr. Speaker, otherwise members will be denying an opportunity of making important inputs in lawmaking. Mr. Speaker, no way. Mr. Speaker, what the majority leader read is not what he's asking the House to do. Mr. Speaker, let's read the provision one more time. Notice of this motion is not required. And if the motion is agreed to, Mr. Speaker, the context of this phrase, please, Honorable Majority Leader, please bear with me. The context is what is important. It is not saying that the Speaker would have to put a question for the House to take a decision before. Mr. Speaker, that is not the intent of this provision. Mr. Speaker, they are setting a certain precedent. He's up with smiles because he knows that he's about succeeding with the mischief. Mr. Speaker, don't be led into temptation. Don't be led into temptation. A certain precedent is being set. It will come and haunt one day. It will come and haunt one day. It's going to haunt you one day. Let's not allow. Mr. Speaker, I have made the application. You've granted it. I am moving, and then he arrested it. The ball is in your court. If you want me to move the motion and give the reason for moving the motion for you to put the question, I don't mind. But it will become part of the records of this House. You've been part of lawmaking in this House, Mr. Speaker, and you know how we go about this. If you are making a new precedent, I don't have a problem. So, Mr. Speaker, what is your pleasure?
Honorable members, we have all been in this House for some time. When there is a consensus, then the motion together with the amendment can be taken together. But where we don't have a consensus, it means you have to move a motion. That is why Order 1712 is saying that the notice of this motion is not required, meaning that you remove the motion without giving notice. So the necessity of you moving a motion is covered by the rules. Now, it went further to say that, and if the motion is agreed to, so which means when you move the motion must be carried. When the motion is carried, it means that the House has agreed onto the motion. Then the bill shall immediately pass through a second consideration. So a bill passing through a second consideration is premised on a motion without notice. 2, the motion must be agreed upon. But honorable members, in this House, where there is consensus, then we go ahead to take the motion together with the proposed amendment as second consideration. But when we don't have the agreement, then it means you have to move the question. Let me put the question.
Speaker, you have given an interpretation to Order 171, and I take it that by this interpretation you are upholding the preliminary objection by the majority leader to the effect that upon moving the motion there must be a decision by the House before the next stage is triggered. Mr. Speaker, that will be fair enough and it will be good to guide us. I have no qualms at all with it. So let me move my first stage motion, let the House take a decision, and then we make progress. Mr. Speaker, no. Please, Mr. Speaker, let me move my motion so that we take a decision on it. Mr. Speaker, with your leave, I move that this House proceeds with second consideration of this bill in accordance with Order 171 and 2 of the rules of this House. Mr. Speaker, in moving this motion for us to go to second consideration stage, I am minded by the NDC government's own policy on alleviating poverty and reducing the burden on importers in this country. Mr. Speaker, this bill seeks to extend special import levy up to 2028. And I hold a view that would mean further burdening the importer.
Honorable Majority Leader,
who otherwise has an expectation that he is going to enjoy some tax relief.
I recognize Honorable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, very well.
Yes, Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, I think we must be patient with one another because this House is a learning chamber. Mr. Speaker, a motion cannot be lame. A motion cannot be lame. You and I are practitioners, and we know that in moving a motion, you must ground it on something. At least I should address this House on the reasons for moving this motion at the first stage. How can I move a motion without telling the House the purpose, the reason for the motion? The motion is even being done without notice. I must give you a background to the motion. And when I have done that, that is what would inform members as to whether to agree with me or not. I can't just get up and say, Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that we go to the second consideration stage in accordance with Article Order 171, 1 and 2. I can't do that. That would make the application lame. So, Mr. Speaker, I am only attempting to give a background to the application. Then you can move, you can put the question on. So therefore, Mr. Speaker, all I am submitting
is that if we maintain the bill in its current position by allowing a third reading without going to second consideration, the Kokompe traders, the Abobloshi traders, the Abosoken traders will be worse off, because those at Kantamantu and all those traders in Kumasi, in Tamale, in Tama, in Takrade, in Swame, all these traders, importers will suffer, because this government will be extending this special import levy up to 2028 against its own campaign promises. Mr. Speaker, that is the basis of my application for us to go to second consideration stage. Mr. Speaker, at this point, if the House so pleases, we should go to second consideration stage. However, you have to put a question on this per the application by the majority leader, which you ruled in his favor. Mr. Speaker, I'm done with the first stage.
Honorable Minority Leader.
I'm done with the first stage of the application.
Honorable Minority Leader, you see, all that you have said, you haven't proposed any new rendition for consideration. But you were arguing. No, I'm not joining the debate, but I need to understand what exactly you are doing. Well, let me take response to your application from the Honorable Majority Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I think, Mr. Speaker, I think ordinarily it is when a member misses the opportunity provided under Order 170. If you miss an opportunity provided under Order 170, then you can convince this House to give you an opportunity for a second consideration. Mr. Speaker, the member was sitting here in this chamber. He was present. He was here when we were taking the clause through consideration stage. And Mr. Speaker, on several occasions, I heard you asking members if they had any amendments they wanted to propose. You asked several times, Mr. Speaker. You gave several opportunities for members who had proposals to bring the proposals. If the member had a proposal, you would have brought it. Mr. Speaker, so after we have finished and we have taken the bill through consideration stage, then you now come and want to drag us back. Mr. Speaker, let's not further waste our time. We are opposed to the motion for a second consideration. Mr. Speaker, put the motion to a vote and let us vote on the matter, and then let's continue.
Yes, honorable members, I will do exactly the same. Order. Honorable members, honorable members, order. Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, your attention is being drawn to Standing Order 126, which is very clear that when the person presiding is speaking, all others must resume their seat and listen to the speaker in silence.
Speaker, I also want to be guided. I also want to be guided. I want to be guided because I have looked at 151, and 151 says when the question has been put by the speaker at the conclusion of a debate, the vote shall be taken by voice, indicating aye or nay or abstention. Despite Rule 1, the Speaker may, instead of declaring the results on the voice vote, call for a head count or electronic vote. The Speaker may call for a head count or electronic vote. A member, and this is where I think we should pay attention. 3, a member may challenge the decision of the Speaker on the voice vote, and the Speaker shall determine whether to call for head count or electronic vote. The Speaker may, the Speaker on the voice vote, and the Speaker shall, determine whether to call for head count or electronic vote. Mr. Speaker, so clearly, you cannot just jump to go and challenge the voice vote using 153. You can't just jump to 153. The person challenging the voice vote must come under 1513. So a member may challenge the decision of the Speaker. So if you are challenging the decision of the Speaker, you should come under 1513. 1513. And when the Speaker's decision is challenged, the Speaker shall determine whether to call for head count or electronic vote. So there are two options here: head count or electronic vote. That is why I asked whether we are preparing for a head count, because those are the options available to us. We don't just jump to division, but head count first.
Honourable Member, most grateful. Yes, Honourable Patrick Yaboma.
Mr. Speaker, I think the majority leader was not listening to me. I requested for a head count under 1513. That was my application.
Honourable Member, that is where the problem is coming from. 153 is not about head counts. Very well. Honourable members, in the circumstances, we need to do a head count. So, the clerk. Yes, Honourable Kinsilinyako.
Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, when the application was made, you made a determination by indicating that there should be division. Why are you suddenly changing your decision? Because no, we must be. I'm making.
Honourable members, I am capable of responding to him.
My point is that, Mr. Speaker, before you made that determination, you should have averted your mind to our
Honourable members, order. Honourable member, your point is that a determination has been made. Therefore, if my attention is drawn to the appropriate order, I shouldn't do the appropriate thing. Is that what you mean?
Mr. Speaker, our colleague wanted clarification.
Let's do the head count.
He was on his feet for clarification.
All those,
now we are doing head count, Mr. Speaker.
All those who are voting for aye. All those voting for aye, may you be standing. Those voting in favor of the motion, may you be standing. Honourable members, rise in your place to be counted. Honorable members, those voting in favor of the motion, rise in your place to be counted.
Mr. Speaker, we accept the results of the head count. Mr. Speaker, we know that the majority is a majority of 187. With all their power, they could only bring 126. Only 126. Where are the 51? Even when we started, they were just about 70. They used delayed tactics to bring their numbers. Upon all of that, just 126. Ochinasu tomorrow. This government is not listening to the industry players. They are just in a hurry. In any event, let me ask a simple question. If you claim that this tax is already in existence and expires 31st December 2025, why are you in a hurry? It's getting to 9 p.m. It's getting to 9 p.m. Why are you in a hurry to rush it through? At least, if for nothing at all, why not maintain the 1%? Why are you increasing?
3%.
Clearly,
You are extending an increase.
today, your true colors have been exposed. You've exposed yourselves. Ghanaians have gotten to know who you are. You came to impose taxes on industry. Mr. Speaker, you claim you are repealing e-levy. You repeal e-levy in one with your left hand and collect more taxes with your right hand. Mr. Speaker, this is most unfair. And besides, you are increasing the period to 2028. Mr. Speaker, we are opposed to this. And Mr. Speaker, we will not wait to go to consideration stage. At this very stage of considering the principles, we will vote on this. We want Ghanaians to know that your majority is not a majority that cares. Your majority does not care about the ordinary Ghanaian and the business community. You are not even a listening majority in this chamber. You don't want to listen to the views we express for the right thing to be done. The finance minister will not listen. The finance minister will not listen to good counsel from the minority. Because he's made up his mind that what he will do is what he will do. Mr. Speaker, we are going to vote against this. And we are not going to tolerate
Honorable
the
Minority Leader.
dictatorship in this chamber.
Honorable Minority Leader.
How can you increase?
I recognize
levy
Majority Leader.
to
Majority Leader, you
How
have the
can you do
floor.
this?
Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, the Minority Leader has given very clear indication the direction of things He says they are going to oppose. Can we have an indication as to how much speaking time people should have on these matters? Because we are clear that even if you speak for 1 hour, we are going to vote in the end. So let's just go ahead and vote. Let's just go ahead and vote. So, Mr. Speaker, let's have a clear indication as to time for leadership to speak. Clear indication as to time for leadership to speak.
Honorable Minority Leader, try and conclude.
Mr. Speaker, this thing started some few weeks back. I decided to ignore, but today and this very time, this evening, I want to respond. Mr. Majority Leader, most respectfully, I shall continue to accord you every respect. Please allow debate to flow. It is very clear to me, that you are not ready to listen to dissenting views, and particularly those who come here to heckle. They come in during voting time. Those who really want to debate, they stay. We have few of you who stay in for debate. When it gets to voting, you are whipped in, and all you come is to make noise and distract and to be heckling. Mr. Speaker, the point here is the finance minister should stand down this bill. There should be further consultation on this matter. The industry players have issued a statement.
I recognize the minister responsible for communication.
The industry players
Yes, Minister for
have
Communication.
expressed some concerns.
Honorable Minority Leader, I recognize the Minister for Communication.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, we are all colleagues in the House. For the Minority Leader to say that some of us don't come to the chamber and we are only whipped in to come and make noise when it's time to vote is offensive and must be withdrawn because it is unparliamentary. He must apologize and withdraw.
Yes, Minority Whip.
Speaker, you had earlier recognized the Minister for Communication to speak. Speaker, may I refer you to Order 115? Order 115. The Minister for Communication is in direct breach of Order 115, and therefore I invite you to rule him out of order. Yes, and his comments should be expunged from the records. Check. Open your records. Open your orders. Go and sit on your seat.
Mr. Speaker, I am in my seat, and Mr. Speaker, I want to state for the records that in this House, it is unparliamentary, it is unbecoming, and it is unacceptable. Mr. Speaker, if it was any of the first-timers at the back who failed to attend orientation, who are going to behave that way, we will forgive them. But not when it is the Osahini who is the minority leader.
he must set a good example. He must withdraw and apologize to this side of the house. And so, Mr. Speaker, he must withdraw.
Subscribe to channel, like and share the video and Kabi. Macro, you be share in the next video.
PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.